Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's Surprise Cut Candidates is presented by Manscaped. If you don't use Manscaped, there's probably a good chance you're single. Head on over to manscaped.com. Use code Raiders for 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. I recommend, guess what? The Lawnmower 4.0. So every single year I do this show, Surprise Cut Candidates, and it's a mix of players that I believe could potentially get cut, but some of the names will be a surprise. So if you're like Mitch, all right, what exactly is a surprise cut candidate? It's a player who most Raider fans watching would be surprised if when the 53-man roster rolled around, they didn't end up making the team. Some of the OG Real One Raiders Report watchers will see some names on today's show and be like, okay, I can understand that. Mitch has talked about him before. But for some of the other people that, let's just say, maybe don't watch the show as much, some of these names are going to be like, oh, shit, that's surprising. Let's go to the first name here on today's Cut Candidates, presented by Manscaped. It's Amik Robertson. I like Amik Robertson as a player, but when it really just comes down to it, he's not a McDaniels and he's not a Ziegler guy. Drafted in the 4th round, and it's kind of crazy the fact that he is the only player from the 2020 draft still on this Las Vegas Raiders team. If you move on from Amik, you save $1.1 million. And the reason why that number means something to a lot of NFL teams out there, especially guys like Ziegler and guys like McDaniels, is because $1.1 million is the vet min. If you believe in some of your younger players like a Sam Webb, you drafted Ja'Cory and Bennett, and Amik Robertson is on the outside looking in, I look at that $1.1 million and I go, okay, after June 1st, I can sign a vet that can help out our team to potentially the vet min. I hope that Amik ends up making this roster because if he does, it does mean that our secondary is shaping together in a nice way. Amik's a dog. He proved himself to be a really solid outside corner last season. I also think that he can play in the slot a little bit, but to me, they have Brandon Faison over him. They have Tyler Hall over him. They have Ja'Cory and Bennett over him. They have the 3 players pictured over him. What it really comes down to is Sam Webb. If he can beat out Sam Webb, he probably gets the job. I just don't think it's going to happen because this coaching staff freaking loves Sam Webb. So we got a few more names to get into on today's show, but how about this? So this is going to be the pinned comment on today's Surprise Cut Candidates video. I want you to name somebody where do you think could get cut, but it would still be a surprise to you out there. Let me know down in the comments why you're getting hit with that YouTube ad break. Next name coming up here is Malcolm Koonce. When the Raiders drafted Koonce in round 3 out of Buffalo, I was excited. I liked his burst. I liked his first step. I like his acceleration. Unfortunately for Koonce, I'm going to chalk this one up to just him getting unlucky. What do I mean by that? In 2021, when he was drafted, he was a part of the Gus Bradley defense. Then in the 2022 year, was part of the Patrick Graham defense and really didn't fit well. 68 snaps on defense. Sure, he played a little bit of special teams, but if you cut him after June 1st, look at that number again. $1.1 million you're saving. To me, the Raiders didn't use Koonce enough last year. They brought in enough players on visits this past offseason that indicates to me they don't love what they have in Koonce. On top of that, they drafted Tyree Wilson. Koonce's main job would have been 3rd downs, letting his ears, pin him back, getting after the quarterback. With this Raiders defense right now, he's just in this awkward spot. If you were to put Koonce in a 3-4 defense, I actually think that would be a much better fit for him. He's too undersized to be a defensive end, and he's not quite athletic enough, I'll just be honest with you, to be a true edge rusher outside linebacker. So because of that, I think they keep Max Crosby. They're going to keep Chandler Jones. They're going to obviously keep Tyree Wilson. So who's the next player that they keep? To me, it's Jordan Willis. They like Willis. He's one of their players. They brought him in for a reason this offseason. So because of all that, make your 53-man roster. I'm telling you right now, it's really difficult to keep Malcolm Koonce. To make sure that your girl doesn't make you a surprise cut candidate, get your hands on some Manscaped. Alex is probably going to kick my you-know-what for telling you all this, but Saturday when I was getting ready to propose to Alex, it was a wild thing, and I made sure I manscaped when she wasn't home, because usually when I do, it's for a special occasion. And I don't want you just to use Manscaped for special occasions. I want you to use it for your everyday life. Why? It's a cleanliness thing. Do you brush your teeth every day? I'm not saying you have to shave your balls every single day, but you should at least take care of them down there, right? Like, the amount of times that I look at Alex and I'm like, hey, babe, are you tired? And she hits me with, yes, I am tired. I'll tell you what, though. Some days where she hits me with, I'm tired, and I still got a chance, it's usually when I manscape. And I'm just being honest with you. Get your hands on the Lawnmower 4.0 at manscaped.com. Use code Raiders, and if you want to get the perfect package, I will recommend ball toner, ball deodorant. If you're going to go out and have, even if it's like day with the dudes, and you want to come back home, you got a few drinks in you, you want to get down a little bit. If you've been hanging out with the guys all night and it smells like Famunda cheese down there, chances are she's not going to want to, you know what I'm talking about. So make sure it smells good. Women, studies have shown, women care more about the way that you smell than the way you look. So why not make sure that your Nathan Peterman looks great, and make sure that you got rid of that George W. Bush, and make sure when she does get down there, if she does, it smells good. I'm here to help you guys out. Code Raiders, manscaped.com. Let's go to the next surprise cut candidate. It's Matthew Butler. I get it. The Raiders drafted him last year, and he is a McDaniels and Ziegler's guy. But you know what? Everybody has people that they trust in their life. And I got a source that I trust very much that flat out has told me that, hey, Raiders regret drafting Butler. And I hear that, and I go, okay. And he told me that before the draft. And then the Raiders go out and they draft a Byron Young in round 3. The Raiders go out and they take a Nesta Jade Silvera in round 7. And when I hear that they don't love the work ethic, they don't love his ability in terms of an overall athlete, that screams to me that they made the pick and they don't like it. And some of you are probably like, Mitch, who's your source or what's this and that? The biggest thing that you can look at for proof is the amount of times last year that Matthew Butler was a healthy scratch. Think about it. Think about how many times last season when you were sitting there, then the players who weren't going to be playing came out. Matthew Butler was on that list all the time. It's because the Raiders made the pick, they thought they could do something, and they don't love the fit. And then you think about the defensive tackles out there. They're going to keep Tillery. They're going to keep Byron Young. They're going to keep Bilal Nichols. I do think that they end up keeping Neil Farrell Jr. He's another name, though, to absolutely keep in mind. They like Adam Butler. John Jenkins has got a lot of ties. But then, do you keep Nesta Jade Silvera over Matthew Butler? I don't know the answer to all that. All I do know is this. They don't love Butler, and he better wake the hell up. If they do move on from any of these players, we will get you a video. And if you want videos every single day, 365. And I mean, even when I'm on vacation in Cancun, I'm putting in the extra hours here in the studio. So when I'm gone for a week, you guys get a video every single day. I got a commitment to excellence. I'm committed to Raider Nation. Y'all are my family. And if you want to join this family, subscribe. It's 100% for free. Let's go to the next name here, and God, I hope this is one. It's Brandon Bolden. The reason why he's going to make my list here is because if you were to ask a lot of Raider fans out there, this one surprised a lot of fans. However, somebody needs to get a hold of McDaniels and Ziegler right now and say, why the hell are we keeping Brandon Bolden? He's 33 years old. He was the worst running back on your roster last season. And I'm sorry, if he wasn't a McDaniels guy, he would not even be on this team. If you can cut him and you can save $2.23 million, sure, you're going to eat $625, but I'm going to look at that money that I can save, and I want to try to save that money. Like, you cut Brandon Bolden, put that $2.23, put it towards Josh Jacobs. Jacobs is better. Amir Abdullah is better. Sincere McCormick is a better running back. Zamir White is a better running back. You're going to keep a fullback in Jacob Johnson. Why the hell on earth are you going to keep Brandon Bolden? Why? Like, somebody give me a reason. If somebody wants to say, oh, Mitch, he's a good locker room guy. Great. Cut his salary. Give him the vet min. Because for you to pay a running back who's the 5th best running back on your team, I don't get it. He can't catch the ball better than Amir Abdullah. He can't run between the tackles better than Zamir White, Sincere McCormick, or Josh Jacobs. What is Brandon Bolden doing? Special teams? Give him $1.1 million, then, if you absolutely have to keep him. I get it. I've heard from Raiders players, he's a great guy. But if I was a great guy and I wasn't good at my job, you wouldn't keep me either. So, Brandon, best respect to you. Hope the best. but you got to get off this team. We got one more surprise cut candidate coming up here on today's show, but remember, you can always interact with me on social media. If you heard something weird, it was me. I had some earwax. I'm just going to be real. Twitter, Instagram, at MitchellRents365. Chugs is looking at me like, dude, what the heck are you doing? Also, Chugs and I, we sung happy birthday today to somebody on Cameo. And if you want a happy birthday shout-out or any shout-out, Brian Dar, you watching? We'll give a shout-out to the kids. At MitchellRents365. And if you want extra live shows, it's over on Locals, Raidersport.locals.com. The final name here for my surprise cut candidate list is Andre James. And the only reason why Andre James makes this list is the money. Money talks, right? He started for the Raiders last season at center. I met him in person. He's a hell of a dude. He is a stand-up guy. People in that locker room love Andre James. He played 964 snaps at center last season. However, James is not a McDaniels and Ziegler guy. I also know that they love Dylan Parham. They love his ability to play center. And if you move on from him after June 1st, I mean, look at the money. You can save $6.5 million by moving on from James. And you're only going to eat a little bit. If we move on from every single player in this video today, I mean, you're almost at $10 million. If I told every single Raider fan out there, if you cut Andre James, Brandon Bolden, Matthew Butler, Amik Robertson, and then Malcolm Koonce, and you use that money to make Josh Jacobs happier, would you do it? Or would you take that $10 million and would you go out and sign maybe 3 or 4 defensive players? I think most people would be like, you know what, Mitch? Yeah, you're right. Why? Because I also have confidence in going out and putting Dylan Parham at center. I have confidence in putting maybe McClendon Curtis at right guard. Or hell, he might even be athletic enough to play left guard. You can kick Jermaine Illuminor into right guard. Yeah, it'd be a little bit ballsy to have Brandon Parker, Thayer Munford, but I also believe in Munford as a young prospect. I believe in Carmen Bracillo. If there is one coach that I am not afraid to look at every single person in the eyes right now and say, I have confidence in, it's Carmen Bracillo. Carmen Bracillo was one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. So if you want to switch up the O-line, I'm okay with it. Why? I believe in Carmen Bracillo. I love James. I respect the hell out of him. He's a great guy. But from a Raiders standpoint, $6.5 million, I got to put the team first here, and that's the reason why I would cut him. So here are my surprise cut candidates. Meek Robertson, Malcolm Koonce, Matthew Butler, Brandon Bolden, and Andre James. If you guys could, take a screenshot. Post it on Twitter. Post it on IG. Make sure you tag me. But how about this? This show is built on the backs of Raider Nation. It's built on the backs of Raider Ron, John Borelli, Lord Buddy Bear, David Zahn, Wild One, Rebel Montana, Martin. I see all y'all watching the show live, and I just want to say this. I appreciate the hell out of you. But how about this? Who did I leave off my Raiders list? No, it's the wrong one. It's okay. Who did I leave off my Raiders surprise cut list? I know what it says, breakout. But guess what? Chugs and I, we've been having a time. Look at that. Bang! Best in the biz. Who did I leave off my Raiders cut list? Please let me know down in the comments section. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Raiders Report. We're a channel that I promise you this. You might not always agree with every take that we give, but that's okay. You're going to disagree with friends. You're going to disagree with family. All I ever ask is this, that you let me know your thoughts. Why? I will look at them. I know there's going to be one night I'm sitting in Cancun, probably had a few Mai Tais, maybe a few other drinks. I'm going to be like, all right, yeah. Martin said that. Oh, yeah, Jaime Alvarado Sr. said that. If you don't think I look at the comments, you're freaking crazy. Who did I leave off my Raiders cut list? Let me know right now.